If you rent your home and you're over 65, I need 90 seconds of your attention because you have been watching the wrong videos. You've seen them. Seniors are exempt from property tax. Stop paying this tax on your house. And every time you thought the same thing, right? That's nice for the people who own. I rent. None of that is me. There's a comment I saw that said exactly that. This is for people who have property. I rent. And I want to look you in the eye and tell you that's wrong, because homeowners aren't the only ones the government owes. There is a renter's version of that same property tax break, and it can be worth thousands a year, and almost no renting senior ever claims it. Plus 2 more that put cash back in your pocket every single month. Stay to the end, because the last one is the big one, the money homeowners already get, that you're owed to. Here's what I'm going to do. I'll give you 3 real programs a renting senior can claim, with the exact office to call and roughly what each is worth, and I'm saving the biggest for last on purpose. But first, let me clear up 2 things people always argue about. This is not just for the very poor, and it is not some scam or a catch where they take something back later. These are real programs, most of them written into law, sitting there unclaimed. I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not with any agency. I just read the fine print so you don't have to. And I want to know something before we start. So tell me in the comments, how long have you been renting, and did you ever once think there was money in it for you? I'm guessing no. Let's fix that. Because here's the thing nobody says out loud. When these programs get talked about, they get pointed at the homeowner. The person with a deed, a mortgage, a house they can borrow against. And if you rent, you get treated like you're just passing through, like you don't count. But you've paid rent for years, decades maybe. That's not nothing. And a chunk of what you were owed has been sitting on a shelf with your name on it. So let me hand it to you, one piece at a time, smallest to biggest. Let's start with the fastest one, the one you could set up this week. It's called Lifeline. It's a federal program that knocks money straight off your phone bill or your internet bill every month for as long as you qualify. The discount is $9.25 a month on your phone or your home internet. And if you live on tribal land, it jumps up to $34.25 a month. Now I can hear it. $9, big deal. But stop and do the math with me. That's more than $110 a year, every year, for a 2-minute application. And for a lot of you on a fixed income, staying connected, being able to call your doctor, your kids, 911, that isn't a luxury. That's a lifeline, which is exactly what they named it. Here's how you get it. You qualify if your income is at or below 135% of the federal poverty line, or automatically if you're already on SNAP, Medicaid, or SSI. If you're on any of those, you're basically already in. You apply through something called the National Verifier. Write this number down. 1-800-234-9473. That's the helpline. Tell them you want to apply for Lifeline, and they walk you through it. 1 benefit per household, and you renew it once a year. That's it. A cup of coffee's worth of paperwork for over $100 back, year after year. And don't sleep on the internet side of it. More and more of life happens on a screen now, whether we like it or not. The pharmacy wants you on their app. The doctor does visits by video. The grandkids live in a phone. That same $9.25 can come off your home internet instead of your phone. Whichever one helps you more. One or the other, your call. For somebody counting every dollar, staying connected to the world shouldn't cost you a prescription. This is how you keep both. Number 2 is bigger, and it lands right when you need it most, in the cold. It's called LIHEAP. That stands for the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, and it does one beautiful thing. It helps pay your heating and cooling bills. And here's the part renters always miss. You do not have to own your home to get it. You just have to be the one whose name is on the utility bill, or the one paying for the heat. That's most of you. The money is real. Depending on your state and how cold it gets, LIHEAP pays a one-time benefit that usually runs somewhere between $200 and $1,000, and it often goes straight to your utility company, so you never even touch it. Your bill just drops. Picture a renter, call her Elaine, 68, in a drafty 1-bedroom up north. Her heating bill in January used to make her cry. She qualified for LIHEAP, and the program put $600 toward her winter heat. She didn't get rich, She just got to keep her thermostat where a human being can live. You qualify if your income is under about 150% of the poverty line. And again, if you're already on SNAP or SSI, many states wave you right through. You call your state's LIHEAP office, or you dial 211, and you ask for home energy assistance. Don't wait until you're behind. The money can run out for the season, so early is better. And one more thing on this one, because I know how proud a lot of you are. This is not a handout, and it's not welfare that follows you around. It's a program you, or your late husband, paid taxes into for 50 years. You're not taking anything. You're getting back a sliver of what you already put in. LIHEAP isn't only a winter thing either. In the hot states, it helps cover cooling in the summer, when the air conditioning bill is the one that can land a senior in the hospital. And most states keep an emergency crisis fund for when the shutoff notice is already on the counter. If that's you right now, say so the second you call, and ask for crisis assistance, in those exact words. So that's a monthly discount and a winter lifeline. Good. But I told you the last one was the biggest, and I meant it. This is the one homeowners already claim and you were never told you could. Here's the truth about your rent. Buried inside every rent check you write is your landlord's property tax. You've been paying property tax for years. You just paid it through your landlord instead of to the county directly. And a lot of states have looked at that and said, that's not fair to renters, so they created a way to give a piece of it back. It goes by different names. Some call it a renter's credit, some call it a renter's rebate, some call it a circuit breaker. But it is, in plain terms, the renter's version of the property tax break that homeowners brag about. And the amounts will surprise you. In Minnesota, a renter can get a credit worth up to $2,720. Let me say that again. Up to $2,700 back in your pocket for renting. In Vermont, the renter credit runs up to $2,500. In Connecticut, elderly renters can get a rebate up to $700 if you're single, $900 for a couple. Massachusetts has one called the Senior Circuit Breaker, and yes, it specifically includes renters 65 and up, not just owners. Colorado has a rebate that covers rent and heat together. More than 20 states plus Washington, D.C. have some version of this. Better than 20 states, and most renters in them have no idea it exists. And these aren't all tiny token amounts either. North Dakota refunds renters part of the property tax baked into their rent. Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Wisconsin, they all have their own versions, with their own senior-friendly limits. The name changes at every state line, which is exactly why it's so easy to miss. You move, or your daughter tells you about the one from her state, and it doesn't match yours, so you figure it's gone. It isn't. It just wears a different name where you live. Quick one. Right now, be honest in the comments. Do you even know if your state has a renter's credit? Yes or no? Most people have no clue, and that right there is the whole problem. Now, who does this help the most? You. If you're a renter over 65 on a fixed income, because most of these programs have a special, more generous track for seniors. This isn't charity. Think about it. The homeowner down the street gets a property tax exemption and everybody claps. You've been paying that same tax inside your rent the whole time, quietly, and getting nothing back. This is just the state finally evening it up. You're not cutting in line, and you're not asking anybody for a favor. You're finally stepping up to a window you'd been standing in front of the whole time, that nobody ever told you was open. So here's your move. Go to your state's Department of Revenue website, or call them, and ask one exact question. Do you have a renter's credit or a renter's rebate, and what's the income limit for seniors? Some states make you file a short form, sometimes with a rent certificate your landlord signs. It's a little bit of paperwork. For up to $2,700, you fill out the form. Let me make that number personal, because yours depends on two things, your income and your rent. The lower your income and the higher your rent, the bigger the credit usually runs, because more of your money went straight into that hidden tax. So a renter paying, say, $900 a month on a modest Social Security check often lands near the top of the scale. Somebody with a bigger pension and cheaper rent lands lower, but still walks away with something. Either way, you don't guess it. You let them run your numbers. And here's the quiet part that costs people the most. In a lot of states, if you didn't claim this last year or the year before, you can still go back and file for those years. So this isn't only this year's money. For some of you, there's back money too, sitting there, waiting on one form. Think about what that stacks into over the years you've got left. Say your state gives you $1,000 a year, which is modest for this. Over the next 15 years, that's $15,000 you'd have left on the shelf by never asking one question. Renters don't lose this money because they don't qualify. They lose it because nobody ever handed them the sentence to say. Let me put it all together, because it adds up faster than you'd think. The Lifeline discount, that's over $100 a year. LIHEAP, that could be several hundred more when winter hits. And the renter's credit, depending on your state, that can be hundreds or a couple $1,000s a year on its own. Stack them, and a renting senior who claims all three could be looking at well over $2,000 back in a single year. Every year. That is not a coupon. That is a car fixed, a month of groceries, a little breathing room you didn't have last month. Over 10 years, that's real money. The kind that changes how you sleep at night. And notice something. Not one of these asked you to own a thing. No deed, no mortgage, no house to borrow against. Just the rent receipts already sitting in your drawer and a couple of phone calls you can make from your kitchen table this week. And I want you to hear the bigger point. Nobody is going to knock on your apartment door and tell you any of this. The county won't. Your landlord definitely won't. These programs don't advertise, because the fewer people who claim them, the more money stays in the budget. The renters who get this money aren't luckier than you, and they're not smarter. They just got told, and now you've been told. So do one thing for me. You know another renter over 65, a neighbor down the hall, a friend from church, someone who's been quietly deciding between heat and groceries and figuring nobody's coming to help. Send them this video. It might be the $100, it might be the $2,700, but for somebody on a fixed income, it could be the difference in their whole month. If this was useful, give it a like so more renting seniors can find it, and subscribe to the Finance Scribe, because this is what we do here. We dig this stuff out and put it in plain English. And tell me down in the comments, which state are you renting in? Drop it below, and let's help each other figure out which of these you can claim. I read every comment. Take care of yourself, and go claim what you're owed.